NEA's Bio-Pharma team is in a unique position of strength today. We have built up strength on both coasts, in the Chevy Chase office and in Menlo. And that strength really crosses the full spectrum of expertise, from science and medicine to classic drug development and commercialization expertise to the more traditional venture finance and company building capabilities. Our biopharma practice today is primarily looking for opportunities that distinguish themselves by having unique and truly novel science. We also tend to really focus on world-class management teams, people that we want to spend a lot of time with, because we tend to do that when we help build companies. And we're focusing on ideas that really have the potential to be big ideas and make a difference medically, make a difference in terms of potentially building a very large company, and make a difference to a very large fund, a $2.5 billion fund. Syngenia is a great example of NEA's biopharma investing practice. The company is built around fabulous science, multi-specificity antibodies. It's built around a proven entrepreneur and scientist out of the Scripps Institute who brought us world-class science, and it's built around a proven management team that we've worked with in the past.
A zybody is an antibody-based protein that is innovative in that it's able to address multiple targets at the same time. The therapeutic potential of zybodies is actually immense. We can go into multiple different therapeutic areas, and because we're addressing multiple pathway targets within that disease, there are tremendous opportunities for us in all the different therapeutic areas. We have identified 2 lead programs with 2 lead molecules, and actually have taken forward to validate the technology both in vitro and in vivo. The remarkable thing about our approach is those activities that treat the disease better are all combined into one molecule, so we don't have the cost of multiple biologics or multiple drugs built into that therapy. Syngenia has 2 main opportunities. The first is where there's existing proven drugs where we can make these better by combining pathways. And the second is by combining other disease pathways together and modulating them simultaneously, we can create totally novel, innovative drugs where there's no parallel out there.
The Syngenia investment fits into our overall biopharma investing strategy as one of the earlier stage companies that we'll invest in. It was in fact a de novo startup that didn't really exist before we got to it. And as a result of that, it'll have a relatively long investing cycle and probably a relatively long cycle time to reaching an exit. We complement those types of investments with later stage investments with more proven technologies that may already be in existence. Sometimes we pull these in from large pharma companies or other specialty pharma companies. Sometimes we simply enter a situation later, such as in the Series C or Series D financing round for a company. SUPERNUS is another terrific example of NEA's biopharma investing practice, but here with later, more proven technology. Because of Jim Barrett's long-term relationships with some of the key scientists that are now at SUPERNUS, when it became possible to spin some core technology out of Shire, we were able to lead that, providing $25 million of a $40 million Series A financing. The company has now monetized its core technology and brought in over $100 million in non-dilutive capital. So now, after just $40 million of venture capital, we have a very late-stage company that is close to commercializing its own products.
Because of the product development strategy that we put in place, we were able to develop several products in a short period of time and with a very efficient use of capital. We've been able to go after multiple shots on goal because our projects are lower risk projects and they cost less to get to the proof of concept stage. That allowed us to develop a pipeline that is 4.5 years after we started, that has 5 core programs which we're funding. 2 of them are in the NDA phase 3 stage and 3 others right behind them in the phase 2 stage. That is a very well diversified pipeline, yet it's very focused because it's all in CNS across 2 therapeutic areas, epilepsy and ADHD. Our programs emphasize known drugs that are in the market or have been in the market. Therefore, their safety profile is very well known, and therefore the development strategy is truncated, therefore allowing us to develop these products in a period of time between 5 and 7 years. That, in relative terms, is fairly short in our industry versus developing a new chemical entity that typically could take as much as 15 years. The products we have developed bring in unique point of differentiation to the marketplace They are based on very important unmet needs in epilepsy or ADHD, and we will certainly be emphasizing those points of difference to the physician audience and the payers out there.
There's a tremendous synergy between our public and private investing practices, particularly in the area of biopharma because of the long investing horizons that can often exist in biopharma. We exchange ideas between the private team and the public team every week and compare knowledge about the management teams in the public companies and the private companies, about the drug targets and about the drug development process.
The investment profile of the companies we are looking for is actually more venture-like than your typical public company in that they are typically micro and small cap, that they are very much in need of additional capital, typically illiquid and underfollowed. Given some of the structural changes in the industry over the last decade, many of these companies, their initial public offerings were merely financing events. There's a number of companies that are making progress in mid-clinical stage where this valuation realization has not occurred, making it a rich area for identifying potential new company investments, as well as an important area to continue to support promising NEA private companies years after our private investment and years after their initial public offering. Great examples of this are Myogen, Pharmion, and Targacept, all three of which were privately funded at NEA, had gone public and had spent several time periods as public companies struggling through lead programs or market value recognition. And by reinvesting in these companies at key times, not only providing the capital and the guidance, we were able to dramatically increase our returns as they were successful in generating very valuable marketed clinical candidates, or in the case of Targacept, on the doorstep of novel breakthroughs in therapy.
NEA's biopharma investing practice is in a unique position of strength today, where both our own team as well as the firm are increasingly strong versus the competition. The opportunities in the industry are richer than they've ever been, and there are fewer people that really have the ability to support these companies going forward. The result of that unique strength is that we're seeing really an ever-increasing deal flow, where both other venture firms want us in their syndicates increasingly because of the capital base as well as because of the expertise that we can bring to the company building process, and entrepreneurs are increasingly calling us on a proprietary basis and giving us a preferential opportunity to lead their financings or help them start their companies because they know that NEA is in a fairly unique position to help them.